Hello. Okay. Chapter 17. Now I can't remember chapter 16. We're up to... yeah. They're in the shop. That random shop. You know, where the book, the honesty box, can't tell lies, and they have to go choose the book that it tells them to go and choose. And in the process, they've all sort of heard that 9 isn't being as truthful as she can be. She's got things that she's hiding. And poor old Eric, he now knows that no one likes his pancakes and he has to look for a cookery book. So, chapter 17, once they get out of this random bookshop, we'll see if these books can help them. Oh, and that's another thing. 9 was told to go and get the book that she already has. The book that is her favourite, the book that she loves from the mortal world. And she can't quite understand why it's told her to get a book that she already has. How's that going to help? Chapter 17. Abandoned cobwebs dangled above the stairway, some so large that strands draped down into 9's face as she walked. Clearly not many witches and wizards were that interested in mortal books. 9 tried to ignore the wails, the smashes and the splashes that were coming from the shop floor behind her as she stepped down the staircase. It was dark, but the steps were lit by candles, sitting in little carved alcoves in the wall. 9 was pleased the candles didn't appear to be talking ones. There was enough noise already. As they went further and further down the staircase, the noises from the shop floor grew more and more distant, and the room then grew colder. "I've never ventured down here before," said Flabbergast. Wrong voice, Mrs. Fish. "I've never ventured down here before," said Flabbergast in a hushed voice. "These are all books from your world." "Why would they be here in Beyond, The Mystery of Wolvermore, and other books from my world?" 9 asked. Flabbergast shrugged. "My people travel the realms of all the worlds and all the worlds between worlds. Your world is merely just one of them." 9 walked off. The last step, a damp, musty smell hung in the air. She was about to step into the cellar when Flabbergast flung out an arm. "Be careful, madam," he whispered. I shouted it. "Be careful, madam," he whispered. "Your best chance is to sneak up on the book. Catch it unawares." 9 nodded. A little current of excitement ran through her body, and the smallest of smiles appeared on her face. The game was on, and the prize, for some reason, was her favourite book. 9 stepped forward. A floorboard creaked. She held her breath. Nothing. She widened her eyes in the gloom, trying to read the categories labelling each of the sleeping shelves. History, fantasy. Then her eyes lit up. Mystery. There it was. She crept towards her favourite shelf. Mystery tales. Stories where answers were hidden and secrets unravelled, and where perhaps, for a moment, anything was possible. Her mind travelled back to the library in the land she had once called home, where the gentle ginger-haired librarian, Mr. Downs, would let her sneak in and borrow books that helped her escape the grey misery of her life. In so many ways, she owed him so much. Her heart burned as she remembered again how she had stolen from him. She trailed her fingertips in the air, an inch away from the soft, dark binding of the books that she'd passed. Her heart thumped as her fingers stopped at the brown spine with gold lettering. The Mystery of Wolvermore by Horatio Piddlewick. Yes, she had nearly succeeded. None of the other books had noticed her thieving feet tiptoe closer in the shadows. None of them had noticed her thieving hand reach for its prize. She stretched her fingers around the book, eased it out gently, silently, and... "Caught you," whispered Mr. Downs, voice in her ear. For a moment, 9's heart leapt out into her mouth. Her fingers fumbled at the book, and it fell towards the floor, just in time. Her hand shot out and caught it. The books remained unaware. And she realised with a pang that the voice was not real, was it? No. How could it be? It was just her mind playing tricks on her. Surely, just a shadow of a memory. The memory of the dear librarian with her gingery hair and his horn-rimmed spectacles. The librarian who had caught her and saved her. Nine gave a small, sad smile as she wondered what on earth he might be doing right now in a magical bookshop at the back of beyond. "Well done, madam," whispered Flabbergast, beckoning her back. "Wait," said Nine. She looked around desperately. Ma's item, the safekeeping. "Come on, make haste, make haste." There must be some clue. There must be something, anything. "Madam!" Nine backed away from the bookshelf, not taking her eyes off the books in case they suddenly sprang to life. But there was nothing, no clue, no sign. Her heart felt empty. She would never know what important thing her ma had left behind for her. They walked backwards slowly all the way to the narrow staircase, then sprinted up as fast, as quietly as they could. The further and higher they went, the louder the noise and the chaos they could hear from the shop floor. Nine tucked her book inside her satchel, and her fingers brushed against the witch's secret jar. Surely it wouldn't be long before Ophelia arrived, and Nine would somehow have to get everyone into the secret shop. "They're going to get me," moaned Bonehead, running past them furiously, chased by 20 books, replying, "No, we're not. We have every confidence in you." Whoever that shopkeeper is, he needs to get back here and sort this out," said Nine, running over to Eric, who was about to be covered in custard from a jug dangling threatening above his head. She scanned the shelves, searching desperately through all the cookbooks, starting with the letter P. Perfect pancakes! There it was! Nine reached out her hand, but immediately got knocked by Kaz, still clinging on her somewhat deflowered hat, and being chased by a book scattering lavender everywhere. The custard was just about to pour. "Eric, your book!" Nine shouted triumphantly, pulling the pancake-shaped tome from the shelf and thrusting it into Eric's hand. "Oh!" sulked the other books in disappointment. Then they all flew back into the shelves, and the custard, raining cherries and ladles of stew all vanished in just an instant. "I have mine too," declared Bonehead from the other side of the shop. Nine saw him wave a book in the air and then tuck it into his rib cage. "Knew you could do it," the book replied to him, as the others slunk back sulkily to their shelves, muttering about stupid, useless skeletons. "I am just temporarily unemployed," growled Kaz, stomping by, dragging her book and her now flowerless hat behind her, "and I don't need to relax." "But where's your book?" "Where's your book?" said Flabbergast. "Where's your book?" No, sorry, that's the wrong one. "Where's your book, Flabbergast?" said Nine. "We've all got ours." "First floor," said Flabbergast, pointing to the staircase Bonehead had run up earlier. "Make haste, everyone. Let's go and get it so we're out of here." The front door of the shop then all of a sudden crashed open. "Before Ophelia the unpredictable comes," said Nine, and swallowed hard. There stood Ophelia, narrowing her purple eyes at them. "If I were you, dear," she called to Flabbergast as she dropped her coin into the honesty box, "I would stay out of my way, or so help me, I will turn you all into—" "Ah, now," you piped up the honesty box. "You really need to learn to control your temper, mate." "Out of my way," she roared to the box, and sent it flying with a swipe of her hand. The box smacked into a shelf, knocked it wonky, and the complete house maintenance section slid down into the pile of the floor. "I recommend," said the honesty box in a dizzy voice, "The Calm Guide to Temper Tantrums." "Silence, fool!" By Millicent, the Permanently and Flustered. Ophelia growled. "Another word and I will burn this entire bookshop to the ground." She opened wide her arms under her emerald cloak and floated up into the sky. Then she swooped towards the staircase, flying over the heads of Nine, Flabbergast, and the others, deliberately knocking off Flabbergast's hat as she did so. "Temper, temper," whispered the honesty box defiantly, floating itself back into position by the front door. Nine and Flabbergast looked at each other as Ophelia entered the room on the first floor. The sounds of crashing and shouting began, with the occasional bursts of emerald sparks shooting out of the doorway above them. "Do you think she still has dish and spoon in her cloak?" asked Nine. "I do not doubt it," said Flabbergast, pulling his hat back down on his head. "Surely she would part it. Surely she would not part with such a prize. Listen, 9 said, lowering her voice. I've got a plan. While Ophelia is distracted with the books, I'm going to grab dish and spoon. You're going to do what? Gasped Flabbergast. You get your book, get the others, and meet me by the door to the secret shop of secrets. Flabbergast looked flabbergasted. You want me just to meet you by the shop door? He said in an unnaturally high-pitched voice. When you have just robbed my aunt, who is a little on the I will burn this entire bookshop to the ground side. He grabbed handfuls of his curly hair. Madam, this is preposterous. You will get us all killed. What in the name of strawberry tea can you possibly be thinking? 9 looked at him straight. I can't tell you. I'm sorry, but will you just trust me? Flabbergast looked worried and unsure at the same time. Thief, liar, traitor. Above them came another crash, an angry roar, and a small staircase shaking explosion, followed by green smoke puffing out of the first floor doorway. Will you trust me? 9 pleaded, grabbing Flabbergast's sleeve. You said you would trust me with your life. Flabbergast stared at her searchingly, then nodded. 9 nodded back and then sprinted up the staircase with Flabbergast, Eric, Bonehead, and Kaz following behind. She had pickpocketed Witch before. It would surely be all fine, except this was not the most unpredictable witch in all the realms. Her heart pounded as they turned towards the doorway. She took a deep breath and she stretched her fingers. She was on in 3. Oh, she hoped this did not get her killed. 2. Focus on the prey. She couldn't see anything but green smoke. 1. Go. And that takes us to chapter 18. And we'll find out if she manages to pickpocket Ophelia.